how to play back brushstrokes again and again and again in Painter. Now I'm using Painter 2015, but the same can be done in 216, 217, etc. Select Brush Tool, then go and select a brush. And the key menu is Brushes. Now I can just apply it, but if I want to reapply that each and every time, exactly the same, best way to do that, go to Brushes and then select Use Stroke Data. Just use that one because that's for the mouse or for pen, so it just stores the data. It doesn't have to be on, but it's just as good to have it on. Then go down to Record Stroke or Record Brush. And then just apply it. Now at some point it will just suddenly stop. Now this varies, it seems, from brush to brush. Some brushes you can record a lot of data, but it will suddenly stop and that's it. Now I'm not certain why there's a limit, but there obviously is a limit, and that's it. And now when you go and play back, it will play it back exactly the same, but in different positions on the document. So again, go to Brushes. All the functionality is in the brushes. Though of course you can change the colours, etc., as well as the brushes. So Playback Strokes. So click somewhere else in the document and it will apply that brush stroke. However, there's no variation in the angle, no variation in the colour, no variation in quite a lot of things. It just applies it as is. But you can of course rotate the canvas and then just apply it again. And of course the angle, it will apply a different angle to the other angles, and you can change the colour as well. But again, that's a very limited way of using the rotate canvas. It's a pity there's no option to rotate the stroke. So you can leave that on. You don't have to leave the playback stroke on, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to automate it as well, auto playback. But before I do that, I'm going to save stroke. So I'm going to save it. And you can save any of your strokes to that menu. You can't remove them. Doesn't seem to be a feature to remove them though. So the list just gets longer and longer. So auto playback. And you'll see if you go to the strokes right at the bottom, you will see the option that you've selected, you've created. Now the auto playback is quite quick. So if you apply it, just click the document to stop it. So if you apply it within a second, stop it. It's up to you, of course. If you don't want to stop it, it will just continue to apply and fill the entire document. But if you're quick enough, it will stop it. Sadly, there's no sort of slow down the auto option. And you can do that again, auto playback. But what you can also do, of course, you can change the colour. You can also go and change the brushes in numerous ways. Select a different brush. You could also, of course, create a new layer. Use the auto playback on that layer. So you can see then you can just fill it. If you leave it a long time, virtually fills the entire document. If you do it quickly, when you do auto playback, just click the document and that's it. You won't get so much of the document filled. Now I'm using the one that I created, the Tangle one. Now I'll fill it now with yellow. But of course I could go to the stroke section there in the brushes, go down the strokes, and there's a whole load of different options, which I've saved myself, some that came with Painter. So there's a few at the top that are Painter ones, lots of the ones below are mine. And you can use any of those with that auto playback. So brushes, and just select a different one. Maybe short stroke or C curve. Like I say, your list will be different from mine. Square. All that does is create a very basic square. Now, if you've got playback on, just click again on document to generate using the current colour and current brush. And you can always turn it off, of course, or you can just use auto. And again, if you click it quick enough, it won't fill the entire screen. Now, what you can also do, of course, you can use other brushes. There's loads and loads of brushes, of course, in Painter. So you can use like Bold or something, one of the effects brushes. Just undoing those. Like I say, you can do it on layers, so you can create layers. And of course, once you've created a layer, you can of course apply effects to it as well. So simply go to the effects menu and apply effects. You could use image hose as well. That's really effective because you can put in different nozzles into the design. Again, auto playback. And so you can go and vary the size as well as the brush. And of course, there's millions of variations with the brushes. Maybe use pastel. Now, some are not very effective. What happens is they end up, because they're not scaling the brush stroke to the brush, you end up with that sort of effect. So you can't actually see the square. It's a pity there is no scale feature. Sort of manipulate things so you get the effect, but scaled. And of course, once you've done that, what you can do, like I say, you can go to various effects brushes, and apply those. Vary the size. And of course, you can also vary the opacity as well. Again, you see exactly the same problem. Sometimes if the brush size is too great, you end up with basically smudges. I'm now just going to go down to the one I created earlier, the tangle one. Auto playback. Again, stop it fairly quickly. Otherwise, you end up with this, where basically you've got the entire document filled. Now, probably what would be easier if you could just set a quick customization for that. Now, just go to effects, maybe use bold or one of the other ones. Of course, there's lots and lots of distortion effects available. And you can use that to create some very abstract designs. You can see the bold there, but you can, of course, apply it just the same as the other one, auto playback. Again, doesn't matter in this case, it will just continue on and you can create, like I say, a very abstract design. So auto playback's useful. There's so many things that would be really great if they added more features to it. But I think it's still a useful tool. Like I say, you can add more and more different types of brushstroke to that menu simply by using the record command. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to Graphicxtras channel. Always adding new tutorials about Painter, Photoshop, and many others. Any questions? Please let me know. Comments, a dislike or like. Thank you much.